Thank you very much, Rabbi. I wanted, excuse me, I beg your pardon. I wanted to pursue the, or to continue with the theme of last week, the subject of truth, the sort of truth. By focusing much more on the first pasuk in Parasha Bereshit, particularly the first three letters of that pasuk, which is Bereshit, Bara, Elohim. I still request my Chaverim to take your Chumash. I know most of us, a few of us are struggling with the language, Hebrew. I am one of those. My Hebrew is not that level like those who were born in the language. So that's, I require the assistance from my fellow rabbis here. Last time we talked about a few things that I could remember so far. One of the forms how to look at, or method how to look at the Torah words and the letters. Based on a Masoret passed to us throughout the generations of us, meaning Jews. And one of those methods is acronym. We know the theme of my presentation always goes with a scenario of a train that some are getting off, some are getting in at the different stations. This concept is not new to you, to some of you, but to some is new, particularly those who were brought into the religious circles, looking at the translations of the Hebrew writings. And some even call it the Torah, those translations. We also saw that the word truth that appears in the first three words of the first pasuk, Bereshit, you cannot find it if you depend on the translations. Why? Because Hebrew is Kadosh Baruch Hu's word, language, when communicating to human race. And the Torah was written in Hebrew. We focused on on how to find the word truth. And we will explore further than where we have ended last time, meaning last week. We also dealt with the connection, if there is, between Israel and the word truth. Last week, or in our previous limud, we saw that, and we know that the word Israel is also the last word of the Torah that appears in the Barim. But Israel, the word Israel, is also hidden in the first word of the first pasuk of the first book, Bereshit. We have also dealt or explained the word Bereshit, that not only the word Bereshit, but every word of the Tanakh is an acronym. Every word of them. So even the word Bereshit, being part of Torah, is also an acronym. We saw what it means. There are in a Jewish world, it is hard to say this is the only meaning of the word. Why? Because you have to look at how the word was built. That's why we do not need to fight like many, particularly in my former religion. In my former religion and the other religions, people fight, and each one of them is claiming to have the truth. But in Judaism, we say Torah is like an ocean. Your level of comprehension, your level of understanding, and your limitation to an understanding of Torah is only for you. Does not mean everybody, all your limitations, your level is everybody's level. Our sages look at that. But we are going, or I'm going according to the Masoret I have received through Rabbi Pinchas. My Rosh Yeshiva. Having said that, we have also touched a little bit about the Midot, because a little bit we saw the link between the word truth and the Israel. If Israel stems into the word truth, then that means the word truth comes with responsibility. And one of those responsibilities is fixing of Midot. What is fixing of Midot? Character trait. In one of our books, the only books that we in Botzina Kadisha use at the very, very beginning of our limudim, Share Kedusha. This is the book, or in this book, probably the first pages of this book, Rabbi Chaim Vital says, I paraphrase, because I don't have a book with me now, right here now, but most of you know, and for those who do not know, here's what it says, or Rabbi Chaim Vital emphasize. You may learn Torah into its depths. This is the book I'm referring to. Most of you must have come across it before in different presentation or classes of other rabbis here in Botswana Kadisha. You may learn Torah in its depths. Like the Chazal says in Mishnah, particularly in the Pirkei Avos, I wanted to believe is Perek 5. And I wanted to believe that is Mishnah 25 or 26. Delve in the Torah, grow in the Torah, see in the Torah, for everything is in it. Indeed so, you may grow in the Torah, you may grow in the Torah, you may delve in the Torah, but without rectifying or fixing the midot. It is as if you did not learn the Torah. In our limud of yesterday, we learned the concept of a rasha, who sometimes does do good things, but his good things or good deeds are given to a tzaddik. Yes, learning Torah is a mitzvot. It's a mitzvah, one of the mitzvot. But at the end, it says, it is as if you did not learn it. Maybe the mitzvot of learning Torah to may go to somebody else. To keep it for you until you are fixed. So on our previous limud, we talked about the midot. I wanted to touch on something before I get to the limud of today, which is the continuation of our previous one. Jewish education is very high. Why it's high? Because it's rooted from the very higher world. And we will see it in a few minutes. That's why many people, including some Jews, not all of them, they treat Torah learning like a secular studies. How do we know that? We only look at, we do not need to judge, but we look at how we behave to ourselves and the outside ourselves. I'm not saying I'm the master of midot, but I've got also many challenges to fix. All the characters to fix. And there's a challenge. One of the reasons why the Jewish education or the Jewish ideas and the concept are too, or maybe I should say high, as I said before, very lofty, because they come from a very lofty world. It cannot be accessed by somebody who is outside of Israel. And even some Jews have those concepts, not that they cannot access them, those ideas, the meaning of those ideas and the concept, or understand them, is because they are lax. They are lazy to study them. Life of other nations is more appealing to them than Torah. Chaverim, as they say, Hebrew language is a difficult language to understand, but it is easy to misunderstand. We saw last week, when you ask many people about Bereshit, what they will tell you is, oh, well, in the beginning, particularly in the translation, in the beginning. But we know that Bereshit, 6 letters, it also refers to you and I as a Jew. Why the emphasis on Midot? I wanted to present you Agdalet, the letter of Ramban. Most of you must have heard it, about it. Or most of you must have read it. This is about, for me, and for most of us,
now we are looking at
you. The word truth and the midot would enable us to focus on the mission, enable us to recognize our own standing in this world, will enable us also to recognize the stand of others in this world. Therefore, this book, for me, I have read, or it became my second or the third book in my bag wherever I travel to and fro before my conversion. And this book changed my perspective about life itself, about my stand, about my interaction with the world around me. It is in this book I have learned the concept of prayer, because tefillah, the way it's translated and interpreted by others in the world, it is as if I do not, it is as if I'm saying it to Akadosh Baruch Hu that he does not know my needs. And as if I'm saying he does not supervise this world. I need a wife, I need money, I need a car, I need all that. Yes, of course, you need that. I know it. I send you into the world. I know that. Do you say I do not know, or do you say I forgot? All this, all many attributes that we give it to Akadosh Baruch Hu, truly, they are not truly Jewish attributes. And they should not be a Jewish attribute. These are some of the concepts that we brought in because some of us, having been educated outside of the Jewish world, we are coming up with our own philosophy to understand the Torah. It should be the opposite. Meaning, the Torah should be able to help us to understand the philosophy, not the opposite. So we are coming on with the concept that are truly foreign to us. Kaverim, last time on our previous limud, there was a question. There was a question from my audience. If we take the three letters and we use a milui, one of the forms to understand.
The screen, we don't see the. Sorry.
Yeah, good. One of the ways or method to understand the Torah, or the Torah words and the letters, is called milui. Because every word, every letter of the Hebrew alphabet has got a hidden letters within itself. Now, if you spell out each letter, it will give you a different meaning. So we have seen that last time we saw that Bet, Resh, and Aleph, if you spell out each one of them, you find the name and the word Israel. Now, the question that was asked or raised is about the remaining letters. The remaining letters after you have taken out the word Israel. And the question is, what are those letters for? So the Rabbi, my Rabbi is helping me out here. I don't want my audience to laugh at me because I draw like a chicken. I don't have a good handwriting. As you can see, Tzadikim, Tzedakot, as you can see here, out of filling out the, not filling, expanding each of those three letters, we find the name Israel, or the word Israel. Now, the question that was raised on a previous limud was, as you can see here, the remaining letter, after expanding all those three letters, are Bet, Bet, Taf, Yud, page of it. These two letters, I mean, these four letters, what are they represent? That was the question. And I promised to bring an answer today. As a matter of fact, I struggled to find an answer. Like they say, when a child cries, he goes back to his father. I ran to my rabbi and asked him, "You taught me this, show me." And then he said, he looked at me and said, "Oh, that is your name." What? It's your name. That was the first answer. And I came back a second time, he said, "I don't understand, Rabbi." He said, "No, if you take the gematria value of this four letters, one of my rabbis here is assisting me too. Yes. Bet is 2, the gematria value. Taf is 400. And Yud is 10. And Pei, if you are not going to use the higher value, it's 80. Now, if you add them up, it's 492. With a kollel, it's 493. And that is the name Tsevaot. That was the answer. Why Tsevaot? Because if you look at the name Tsevaot, many times you find written with Vav. But in this case, it's without a Vav. So that was the answer. Toda rabba, Sadiq. That was the answer. Yes, please.
What's the meaning of Sebaot? Covers. If I covers. What's, you said it's connected. What's the?
How is it connected to your name?
Yeah.
It's a long story.
Yeah, fine.
My family name, if you translated it in Hebrew, is Tzevaot. In many translations, it's translated as legends, but legends is not the most accurate meaning of the word Tzevaot. Rabbi Ari, could you please pass me my, oh no, it's here, sorry. Rabbi Pinchas, maybe it will take me a long time to. Okay. Okay. Excuse me. I beg your pardon.
In the of Israel or as vessels?
As a vessel.
So what was your name in Africa? How was it pronounced?
In fact, the word in Amwea, regardless of the dialect, but the idea behind, because I always hear my father using Shebaot. But Shebaot, when you look at the nature of the idea, that's exactly what. תודה רבה. Rabbi Pinchas, excuse me, I beg your pardon, just bear with me. I just wanted to find something quickly from Rabbi Pinchas here. Rabbi Pinchas, when it says Tzevaot as a kli of what?
Of the light of Hashem when it comes in the Sfirot of all and
Very good. Tzadikim, one of the things that we did not mention, and we will see it how Ben Shchai will bring out this idea. Every letter, Hebrew letter, is a vessel. So the question that was raised now by one of my Talmidim here and the fellow Rabbanim is that what is the meaning of Tzevaot? And it's a vessel. What is this vessel? It's when you take the high attribute of Hashem, those higher light, meaning Havaya, when it comes down to the three Sefirot. Sefirot, which are these lower Sefirot? These are Netzach, Hod, and the Yesod.
only Netzach.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I beg your pardon. Ken. I'm sorry. I beg your pardon. Sorry. Only two Sefirot, Netzach and the Hod, because Yesod is something else. There is a name for it. Did I answer your question, assisted by my rabbi there? Did I answer your question, Rabbi Ari?
Do you mind if I answer to make sure I got it?
Yes.
She's saying that the attributes of
Amen.
Amen. She's saying the attributes of Hashem coming down the vessels of Hod and of Netzach and Hod.
Mhm.
That's about.
Can. And then we will see it in a few minutes. We have got time. I was informed we still have got time. Before I get to the introduction, or not into the introduction was already made, but the main topic of our continuation of our previous limud. Is there any question from Chaverim online? Yes, please.
Is this the end of the is a Bereshit? We continue because I got a question.
Yeah, we are continuing the theme of Emet.
Because why does Sevaot next to Israel in the Milui? The Milui is Israel and Sevaot and Betafush is Sevaot. What's the
link?
Yeah, what's the link? And it's the first.
I don't know, but I just want.
It's the first word of the Torah, so it must be very. It must be a very connection with you. With that also. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not sure, but I stand to be corrected by my rabbi. We know that Zah has got how many sefirot? Six. The two of them are the most closer to Yesod, right? And we have learned in that prophecy to Malchut appears through these two Sefirot, Netzach and Hod. I wanted to believe, I stand to be corrected by my rabbi. I wanted to believe that Israel and the Tzevaot are the expression of the higher world of Hakadosh Baruch Hu's will in all this world, particularly the lower world. That is the shortest answer I could provide.
I'm bringing that Mishachim.
My head rabbi just added one element to the question raised earlier, that Netzach and the Hod, this refers also to two different Moshiachim, I beg your pardon, Mishachim. We know.
Yeah, I said that Israel and Tzevaot.
Israel and Tzevaot. Okay, very good. Thank you. Thank you, Rabbi. So, Chaverim, asking me why I'm using the word Chaverim so a lot. We are encouraged in the Torah world to have a studying partner. You are my partner in studying Torah. Having said that, I wanted to make a brief remark on this group and outside there to my viewers. That this group consists of individuals of different level of intellect, different backgrounds. when I say to different background, I also refer to cultural diversities. I refer also to multiracial or ethnicity, which is not an issue in terms of Torah. Language barriers and the limitations. I want to remind myself what my other rabbis have taught me, particularly in Machon Meir Yeshiva in Yerushalayim. I believe it would not be a crime or an offense if I mention their names. Baruch Hashem. Rabbi Ariel Weiss, the Gemara rabbi in Machon Meir. Rabbi Chaim Cohen. Rabbi Menachem Lisman. Rabbi Menachem Weinberg, and many others in Machon Meir. The list goes on, including the Rosh Yeshiva, Rabbi Bigon. Have taught me one thing when it comes to language. A language is not a proof of education, you being educated. It's a skill. We are all struggling to express ourselves in this world. It's up to someone to try to be patient and regard yourself that the challenge of someone in a language may be also your challenge. I salute you, my rabbis, for having taught me this reality. I also wanted to thank my rabbi, my mentor, Rabbi Tzvi Golik in Namibia, who stood the test of time teaching me Hebrew, read and write for more than 10 years. I salute you all. Thank you very much. May Hashem still continue to give you strength to teach those after me. I don't want to thank my rabbi here because he's present. If you find me praising him outside there, it's another thing. Chofetz Chaim, in the guarding of your tongue, he says, be careful even to praise somebody in public, like not really to praise, but yeah, in the presence, in his presence. So I reserve that. I mean, I reserve that. So what time is still up? What time do I still have? I wanted to. Oh, Baruch Hashem. Dear fellow Chaverim, excuse me, beg your pardon. We know the concept of truth from the previous from the previous limud that there is the word truth. There is a askafa, the world view about the word truth. But there is Torah concept truth. The world view of truth is here today and tomorrow fades. But the truth of Torah that a Jew represents is ultimate truth. And that seems to be, to me, and we will see why I'm saying that, seems to me that is the seal of HaKadosh Baruch Hu in this world. As I have said on my previous presentation, and I repeated it today, there are so many ways to look at the word truth. Many ways. Yes, please. Particularly this part. Yes. I'm telling you, can you write for me the word truth, please, HaEmet? I have got very helpful rabbis to help me out. There are so many ways to look at this word. For those who are not Jews yet, and they're not familiar with this, do not think that that is the end of the word or the meaning of the word, because the letters can be changed. And once they change, they mean something. And once they mean something, even in the message, it appears, or the sentence, it appears, also changes, right? And I wanted to change this, the rearranging of the letters, okay? I wanted to change the last letter to the middle, all right? Rabbi, can you help me quickly, please? Very good. Can you see in Hebrew, there are certain letters that very rare, that not that they are rare. The letter change form when they come at the end of the word. One of those letters is mem. Mem, once it appears at the end of the word, it changes the form, meaning it's closed on both sides. And there is a deeper meaning why it closes on both sides. And there is also a meaning what right, left, up, and down mean, because they are also letters, all right? But it's not a subject now. The subject now is what is the meaning of that after rearranging the letter and the form of one letter. What is the meaning of this word? This word, it means atem. In Hebrew, when you refer to a second person in plural, it's atem, not ata, but atem. Where are these words coming from, and what are they truly represent? Let's go to maybe I will ask you one of my rabbi. Can you take a picture of this and this particular? Definitely. Yeah, the areas I have highlighted. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So, Ben Shchai, as you can see, Ben Shchai brings or will help us to understand the nature of these three letters and the where they come from. Of course, we know that well, all the letters come from one source, but what exactly do they represent? Ben Shchai in Parasha or Parashat Noach. Parasha Noach, for the benefit of those who are not familiar with this, the Jewish world, the Torah, the 5 books of Torah is divided into portions called parashayot. This every week of the month is a different portion, only specifically for that week. In Ben Shchai, in helping us to understand this, he went to Parasha Noach. Huh? Is it not recording?
Yeah, you want to share the screen.
Ah, okay. Said one of my rabbis is assisting me again to connect with members of our audience. Very good, very good. I will not be able to, because of our time also, time constraint, I will not be able to read the rest of that page. I will jump here and there. It says up there, as you can see there, Ve'atem Peru Urevu Sirtzu Va'aretz Urevu Va. What does it really say? Rabbi Ari. What did we read here?
Vatem, and you, Pruvu, Shemaklai, Shetsu Ba'aretz, and she spread into the land, Verububa, and multiply.
Why did Ben Shchai bring this? Why did he bring this here? Because we know this is the second time it appears in the Torah, right? First to Adam, and then now we see it, Noah is also being, or the same word being used.
Which were the also?
No. The word Peru, Uveru.
Yep.
This is the second time it appears in the Torah. And the Ben Shchai went on to say, Nireli Besiata Dishmaya. It appears to me, or it looks to me, right? It looks to me, Atem Otiot Emet, that the word Atem, as you can see on the screen, the word Atem is the same letter as Emet. Ben Shchai continues. Shehem Romizim Le'esrim, sorry, Le'esrim Ushnaim Otiot Torah. Ben Shchai says this hints to the 22 Hebrew alphabet. In passing, before we continue, well, I wanted to rush because it's almost the time. When we go to the first pasuk of Bereshit, last time we mentioned that it consists of 7 words. When you take the initial letters of these 7 words, their gematria value is 22. I just wanted to bring that it's also a hint. The otiot, they are also hinted in the first pasuk of Bereshit. And they went on to say, Ki Aleph, Hu Berosh Mem. That Aleph is the head of Mem.
Aleph Berosh.
Berosh. Berosh? Yeah. That the Aleph is the head. The Aleph is the head. Bemtza, no. Umem, Bemtza. And Mem is in the middle. The Tav, Besof. And Tav is at the end. What are these? Is he referring to this word or is he referring to a Hebrew alphabet? Certain yes, yes, is at the first and is the end. Mem is in the middle. How do we know that? If he's talking about the otiot, the letters. Let's continue. It says, Dehainu imich tachnis otiot. Me'atzipach mantzpach betoch ha'esrim u'shtayim otiot. Tzadikim, we know that, as I have indicated, what happened there? Oh.
I'm just
Okay. As we have indicated there are in Hebrew alphabet, there are certain letters that change forms. And those letters are only 5. And they are called mantzpach. They are 5. I will, my fellow here is helping me out. There's a big sort to that. Brother Pinchas?
Yes.
Please, if I go out of time, please let me, I wanted to continue with the sleep mode.
I got 5 minutes.
Oh, okay. Oh, my goodness. I've got only 5 minutes, Tzadikim. Maybe I spent too much time in introduction. These are 5 letters that change form in Hebrew alphabet. When Ben Shchai says, Aleph is the first. It is the first of the Hebrew alphabet. And when it says Mem is in the middle, that means when you add these 5 letters, 5 letters to the 22 Hebrew alphabet, they become how many? 27, right?
And the middle one being the man.
So when you count from Aleph, the last letter, count to, from left to right, Mem will always in the middle. And when you count from Aleph to left, you will end up, the middle is always Mem. So it's Mem. So this is what he meant by Aleph, the first, Mem in the middle, and the Taf at the end. I've got only 5 minutes. Maybe I should end because yeah.
Maybe we can give what come next, Yom Rishon.
Yom Rishon?
Take my minutes from 11, then 31.
Okay, very good. Okay, very good. Now, my rabbi has made an exchange, bargained, and I love that bargaining. Tzadikim, I will remember, only a king can give to another king. Adam Arishon gave some of his years to another king, David. So my rabbi here granted me of his time on Yom Rishon. B'ezrat Hashem, we will continue where we have left off on Yom Rishon. Thank you very much, Tzadikim. Please, if there is one who has, or there is a question, reserve your question for today and for Yom Rishon. Write it down, or you may send it to me. And B'ezrat Hashem, with the help of my Rabbanim here, we will be able to answer your question and be ready on Yom Rishon. Baruch Adonai leolam, amen ve'amen.
Amen, amen. Chazak baruch.
Good afternoon.